Alright guys, either I am dedicated to this video, or I'm nuts, or both. I am literally out here in my bathing suit. Let's see what the weather is right now. It's cloudy as you can see. Let's see what the temperature is. I don't know if you guys can read that, but it's literally 40 degrees out here. Oh, it's so cold. Welcome to Little Antique Me. Today I am so excited. I was asked to share some of my favorite patterns and what I have made with these patterns, and it has been quite the experience getting all of these items out. They're currently sitting over to the side, and so it's neat to see what I have created. Just amazed that God gave me an ability to do that. So I wanted to thank my friend Lacey Faye. If you haven't checked out her YouTube on here, she's fantastic. I'll leave her links below, and she should have popped up here somewhere or over here, one of the two. And I just want to say thank you, Lacey, for picking out this video for me and for encouraging me to share these things. And so here we go. So as I show each pattern, I will also show you a little bit of the garment that I made with it as well, and then I will model it for you so you can see it in action and to see my end result. The first pattern I'm going to show you is this 1930s Simplicity pattern, number 8248. I fell in love with this pattern and obviously attached to a swatch, so I knew exactly what material I wanted to use for it. And I just loved the elegance of this pattern, all of the details of this pattern, and just the overall look of it. I was inspired to make this one after I was gifted this beautiful polka dot material. This is my finished dress. If you're on my Instagram or on my Facebook, you have seen me wear this many, many times because it truly is a favorite of mine. The pattern itself is relatively simple. The way that you put it together is quite simple. The tucks here at the waist tended to be a little difficult, but that might have been because of my choice of material, because this is it's kind of rayon-y, so it's very silky and it likes to slide, so I use my walking foot when working with this. The other thing I chose to do differently from the pattern was, instead of adding the collar, I was gifted this beautiful lace collar, and I just thought I would add a touch of class to it, so I added the lace collar to it instead, and trimmed my pockets out in white. But overall, it was a very easy pattern to follow. I think the results turned out beautiful. It's got a side zipper to get into, and then a latch in the back, which I still need to tag that down, but that's that. Up next, we have the 1940s retro pattern. All of these I think are Simplicity. I think I might have a few others, different ones. This is Simplicity 1587. I love this pattern. At first I was a little hesitant because of this like yoke under thing, I'm not sure what they call it, between the top and the bottom. I almost thought it was honestly kind of thought it was weird. But once it was made and put together, it actually was quite beautiful. I found this material at a bargain store and fell in love with it and made it for Christmas over a year ago now. And overall, this pattern actually is really simple. It went together really quickly. I had no trouble with it. There's lots of neat little gathers, like there's a little gather on the sleeves, which I think was done with elastic. Yes, so it's elasticed on there. There's gathers done on the bodice, so you have these little gathers here. So this is a piece, this is a piece, this is a piece, this is a piece. So there are a lot of pieces to this dress, but I think overall it creates a nice look. I would say the only tricky part about this dress was attaching this part, the skirt, to the middle yoke thing. I don't know what that's called. You can name it what you want. And it kind of gathered funny a little bit in the front, so I have to press it down before I wear it. But beyond that, it's a beautiful dress. It's got a button again on the back, much like the first dress, and a side zipper, which I accidentally put on the wrong side. but nobody knows, and that's okay now. Well, I guess you guys know. Don't tell anybody. But otherwise, it's a beautiful dress. I used this material is a cottony type material, and it flows very nicely. So that's dress number 2. So my third and final reproduction pattern dress, because I have some more dresses to show you later, is this 1940s vintage dress, which is Simplicity 8050. You actually saw this if you watched my video last week with my lookbook, but I'm going to show you the pattern anyway. So it's got this almost like suit-like dress, and then they put the white collar on. I tried to attempt that and accidentally cut one of the pieces out of the wrong material, so it didn't quite turn out right like that. But that's okay, because that's all part of being creative. And so here is my version. I used a gifted piece of wool suiting material. A neighbor of mine gave this material to me, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's a beautiful gray color, nice. It's not too heavy, and it's not itchy at all, which is nice it's a wool blend. So here, the collar, as you can see, was supposed to be white down here as well. I cut it out in the gray because I didn't read through all the directions. I'm going to admit that right now, and misread something. But that's okay. I think I like how it turned out. And then it's got 10 pearl buttons down the front. I actually used vintage buttons from my grandma's box. So if you looked close enough, you could tell this one is actually smaller than the rest of them. But I like it because it adds just a little extra something special. This pattern itself was fairly simple. The only tricky part was turning the collar. Honestly, the directions on it, I think if I read it through again, it might make more sense. But the first time through, if you do make this pattern, really read the directions on how the collar goes on, because I actually had to go back in, rip it all out, and reapply it because it just wasn't laying right. The points weren't where they were supposed to be. You can still even see a little bit of this one where it's not quite where it should be, but it's still, you would never know, and that's okay. We're gonna move on to separates. So we did dresses, now we're moving on to separates. My first item is one that I have gotten so many questions about on my Instagram and on my Facebook, and have been requested to make a pair for everybody that has requested them. So I'm going to show you the pattern, and then you can decide if you want to make them yourself. I might try and make a few for just, you know, fun. Currently I'm actually working on a pair for myself in white, but the pattern is Simplicity 8447. It is my favorite pants pattern. It comes up way high, and it has the buttons down this side. It also has an overall pattern, which I haven't tried yet, but perhaps one day I'm going to have to make those. But here's my version of those pants. I was gifted this material as well. I was gifted a lot of material. I obviously wore these to preschool yesterday because they've got stain on them. It is I'm going to say kind of like a rayon type material as well. And it's nice and flowy. I put 4 buttons that I found in my button box on the sides, along with buttonholes, and then I don't know, they're very basic pants. The pattern themselves couldn't have been any easier. It's literally, I think, 3 main pieces and 2, they put a piece here for the buttonholes and a piece here to keep your buttons on, and that's it. It's very basic. There's nothing fancy to them. It does come with a pocket, but it's like an outside pocket, and I didn't want that on these pants. I wanted them to be clean line. I like them because they are very tailored. They fit my waist perfectly, and I put a little cuff on the bottom because I wanted to keep the weight at the bottom to keep them hanging where they're supposed to be. My next favorite item is this 1950s 8040 or 8446 pattern. It's a poodle skirt, but don't let that throw you. I actually use this when making any of my swing skirts because it gives it the shape that I like. So for example, I made this really cute bubblegum pink one. I folded the waistband down because, as you can see, it's got a cool little curve on the waistband, but instead I just made it straight across. And so I made it straight, and it's just a very basic pattern. I love it. It's literally 3 pieces, a front, a back, and a waistband, and that is it on this skirt. It's very simple, easy to follow.
I actually set it aside for the longest time because I was thrown by the poodle skirt aspect. I thought I needed to use felt to make this skirt, but ended up one day just giving it a go, and this is what I ended up with. And I actually ended up lining this one. So again, I used the skirt patterns and just cut white material. This material I purchased at Hobby Lobby. It's just cotton. Next favorite skirt is this 1950s vintage one from Simplicity, the 8250. If you've noticed, all of these are Simplicity. I love that they've brought all these patterns back because they are fantastic patterns, very simple to follow, and a lot of fun. So I've made this one multiple times. I only have one of them with me. One I sold at my friend Sarah Jo's store, the Eclectic Contessa, and the other one I think I gifted to somebody. But the one I still have is this blue and white one. And again, if you've on my Instagram page, you will have seen this many, many times. It is my favorite go-to summer skirt because it's a lightweight cotton. It's got these cute little triangle, they remind me of boats on them. I did add the pockets from the other dress or skirt, or no. I did put pockets on this one, much like they put them on the outside, which I kind of thought was fun. So they're like little patch pockets and they're huge. Again, this one is literally 3 pieces, a front, a back, and a waistband, or maybe 4, because we have this little cool design on the front. But very simple to follow. The waistband itself is lined, so they have you line it, and so therefore it keeps it all nice and neat inside. I accidentally didn't put it in right, but that's okay because you'll never know when you see it on my Instagram until now. It is zipped up the back with some hook and eyes. I ended up taking in the waist just a pinch more. Sometimes these patterns aren't quite small enough for my waist, and so I just adjust. Yeah, so that's that skirt. Next up is this 1950s Simplicity pattern 1426. It's just a top pattern. I used this one here, this B, to make a play suit. So I made the top from that pattern. I actually expanded the waist or the band down just a little bit because I didn't want as much skin showing. It was a very simple project as well, and it's completely lined, so I can wear it in the summer actually by the pool and not have to worry. And it went together quite simply. It was very simple. I think I said that already. It was very simple. So this pattern I really liked because I was able to adjust it to fit my size. It is buttoned in the back with 4 buttons. Technically, if you were to follow the pattern, it would have been 2 buttons, but since I expanded the band underneath, it needed 4. I also came up with a pair of shorts to go with it. I don't have a pattern for these, sorry guys, but I found just a basic short pattern that I liked, expanded it to be higher waisted, added a belt, and it zips up the side as well, and lined them because you gotta stay decent, I guess. And yeah, so it kind of is a cute little set. All right, next up is actually one of the very first patterns I purchased and made. The quality of the shirt shows that because I was in a rush and I didn't take the time that I take now with creating what I create. But the pattern itself is Simplicity 1364. It's just a very basic shirt. You can do it long sleeve or short sleeve. I chose short sleeve because I wanted it to go under my cardigans and I wanted it to fit with other things. If I were to do this pattern again, it's actually too big for me. As you can see on the front, it looks pretty fitted, but mine is not, which is fine. That was me, again, being rushed and not reading everything. I would probably take it in a bit more because it is a bit more square. Under things, it's not so bad though. This is some material that was gifted to me. It's a cotton, I don't know, almost like a linen cotton material. As you can tell, I did not take the time to serge it or anything else because I have strings everywhere. But I still love wearing it underneath some of my skirts and shirts and things, and you probably have seen this on my page many, many times. I also have a red one and a floral one. Next quick simple shirt is this cute little number with the adorable instructions on the back. This is Simplicity 8452. It is 2 pieces. You do it in knits, any kind of jersey knit. I chose white. and it looks kind of funny when you have it folded, but when you put it on, you put it over your head and then it gathers around the top, much like how hers is, and then it tucks into your waist, and it is super cute. It is the cutest shirt. I'm gonna have to make more of these this summer because they are so simple to wear and easy to pack. So if you're going on a trip, these are great because they pack down really small. This I used just a normal 4-way knit I found at Hobby Lobby. Last up for my separates section is this Simplicity pattern 1166. I've only made the skirt, I've never made the tops yet. One day that's going to happen. This skirt actually was one of the first ones I made as well because I knew I needed something that would help me start. So I knew separates was a good place to start because I could mix and match them. I was given this material and it instantly said skirt to me, and that's what it became. I love it because it's very flowy. It's a linen cotton and it's buttons all the way up the front like so. Somehow I managed to not read the directions correctly and my waistband got smaller than my skirt, so I ended up taking extra gathers in the back, but it ended up being okay and it's cute and I'm okay with that. Again, if I were to recommend any kind of sewing instruction tip or whatever to you for anything, always read the instructions before you start your any project, even if you think you know what you're doing, because you'll end up having gathers where there shouldn't be gathers. So read through them all 100 times if you have to. So again, this skirt pattern, again, very, very straightforward, very simple. If you left the pocket out, it would be even that much simpler. I need to work on my buttonholer. It's actually broken right now. And so I'm hand stitching all my buttonholes. And so this one is always kind of one of those, well, one day when my buttonholer is fixed, I will do that again. But in general, I think it's a very cute skirt and very easy go-to for your summer. My next often asked question is about my bathing suits, because bathing suits tend to be hard to find, I guess, and if you do find them, perhaps they're just really expensive. If you want an amazing reproduction company that does bathing suits, check out Red Dolly Swimwear. She has fantastic items, so if you're not wanting to make your own, which it does take some dedication, check out Red Dolly Swimwear. I'll leave her link below. Great prices, great bathing suits. An amazing lady runs that store, and just, yeah, that's what I would recommend. But if you do want to try and make your own bathing suit, why not, right? I have a few to show you. All right. First up, my very first bathing suit I made was from this 1950s pattern, 8139 from Simplicity. I actually made the bathing suit and the cover-up for this. I didn't realize until later that there was a belt that I could add to the cover-up, but that's okay. I think it's really cute the way it is. So the material I used is a blue, I think they called it chambray. I don't know how you pronounce that material. You can let me know how I say that. And it has these cute little polka dots. At first I was a little hesitant because we're so used to our bathing suits being just the stretchy knit, and I wasn't sure how well this would dry, but it actually dries really well. I was very pleased. Inside I lined it with a 4-way knit material. Both of these materials I found at Hobby Lobby, and I am so amazed how well it dries. It has been in swimsuit, or it has been in lakes, it's been in the pool, it's been to some water parks, and it does really, really well. And it's not uncomfortable. So the pattern itself is quite simple. The attaching the bust part, you really need to go slowly on because it gets kind of tedious, but worth the while because it does create a nice bust and it has some nice darts in it to keep everything neat. But anyway, that part is the only complicated part. I think the actual attaching the lining was quite simple. The lining itself was very easy to put together. It could almost be a bathing suit in and of itself. It's very cute. And attaching it to the actual swimsuit was very simple as well. It is zipped up the back, so that's kind of a different thing from our modern bathing suits. So it does have a full zipper. I added a piece of elastic underneath the bust to create more support. And it's swimwear swimwear elastic and then just a little hook to hook it together, and I find that helps my needs. And then with that, I made a matching jacket. I'll cover up. It is the matching material from the bathing suit, and then the outerwear is linen white material. Well, it's more cream material. Really easy pattern, really easy to put together, has one button on it, great pockets, so when you're at the pool you can stick all your stuff in there. And yeah, great pattern. Highly recommend that if you want to make your own. The next one I will not be modeling for you today because it is not mine. I made it for a friend of mine because I found this pattern, fell in love with the suit, wanted to make something for someone else, and my friend was gracious enough to allow me to use her as my model. And she unfortunately cannot model it for this video, but perhaps in a later video. So I found this butterick pattern. It's my one and only butterick in my new patterns. That is butterick B6067 by Gertie Patterns. And I just loved the shape of it. I thought it was cute. I will have to admit, since I'm a simplicity girl, some of the pattern instructions were a little bit different than what I'm used to, but we muddled through and we figured it out, and it was an adventure. So here's the suit. I found, I gotta cut a string. I found a 4-way knit at Joann Fabrics. My friend Sarah fell in love with the color, and I eventually will have one to match her. And so it's several pieces actually, and it's completely padded in the top. It's a piece here, 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 and one in the back. So that's 2, 4, 6. 6 pieces across the front and the back, and several pieces on the front. It's completely lined. It also has elastic across the back, has elastic around the legs, and even has lining in the crotch area. It is a halter, so it'll go around her neck. And I think it turned out pretty cute. And one day she will hopefully model this for me once she is feeling better. So that is that bathing suit. And again, sorry, I'm not gonna model that one for you guys. The last bathing suit, much like my pants, is the one I get the most questions on, and it is the one that I probably will never be able to recreate. It was a labor of love between my husband and I. I found this picture, which I'll put up here for you. I fell in love with the yellow and white striped bathing suit in that picture. And I looked and I searched and I hunted and I asked, and I could not find a bathing suit for sale like that. I think I did find one, but it was, I think, about $250. And I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit more frugal than that. So I decided that I could make my own. And I started looking at my patterns and saw that I had this top, which was close to what I was looking for that bathing suit, because it has got the little doohickey on the front. And then I also went to my local Hobby Lobby and found these 1930 knickers and decided I could probably use those as the bottom since they're kind of ruffly and full. So I took these two patterns, extended the waist higher on this, extended the bottom lower on this, and put them together to create my bathing suit. I used for my lining, I actually used a lining from this pattern, and it fit perfectly into my created bathing suit. So I'll show you that. So I used a cotton material because I liked the stripes. My husband literally sat on the floor with me and calculated how I would need to lay out my pattern pieces so that my stripes on the front would line up and my stripes on the back would line up. He is very mathematical, and I don't know how he did it to this day, to be honest with you. I could not explain it, but he managed to get the lines completely lined up. So in the pattern, or in the picture, I noticed she had like little, almost like belts on the side, and so I added that. I also added the lining, and later went back in and added some a cup into the bra part to give it more structure. It also has boning down the sides to again give it structure and give it shape and to keep everything where it needs to be, let's be honest. And so I made the shorts, attached it to the top, and then put the lining inside, and it's gathered on the bottom, so it's elastic on my leg so nothing shows, and then just attached it to the top. and just attached it. I just tossed this thing together. It's no big deal. And I've had many people ask me if I could make them one or make another one. And as much as I would love and desire to make you guys one, I just don't know if I can, because while it sounds so simple putting 2 pattern pieces together, there was a lot of altering that went into this one to make sure that the top was snug enough against my side to match the shorts, and the short waist was snug enough to match the top. And without actually putting it on somebody, I don't know if I could actually do it. But I appreciate all the love on this bathing suit. I adore it. I think it's just the cutest bathing suit ever. And if I ever figure out how to make them, I promise I will try and make one for you. My last section is my actual vintage patterns. Well, 2 of my actual vintage patterns. I have several that I have actually made. My first one I picked up while I was visiting in Palm Springs. I found it at an antique store. They sold it to me for $15, but it originally sold for 35 cents. So that is inflation for you. I just fell in love with this pattern. I thought it was adorable. I loved the shape of it. It is way too big technically, but I decided I was going to make it anyway and just alter it down to me. And so I made 2. My first one I made, which was actually one of the very first pictures I ever put on my Instagram and started this whole antique journey, I made this green one. It is a cotton material. It's a great summer dress, nice and soft. I've used vintage buttons down the front. I also made the belts to go with it and used a vintage mother of pearl belt buckle. It buttons down the front and zips up the side and has pockets, which is it's almost like a must. You should always have pockets. I loved this pattern. Altering aside, it's actually a very simple pattern. It's just the darts on the top can get tedious because there are at least 4 darts, and then the top fronts are 2 separate pieces, but it's not the end of the world. It's actually quite simple and very fun to make. It has 2 different parts. As you'll see on the next one, you can see more of the different pieces. I love this material and I love this dress because it is my go-to and it's washable and I don't have to worry about it. And yeah, the one I made with it that I love too is this one. It's my mint green one, and if you've seen my Instagram, again, you've probably seen this one. I tend to wear the same thing over and over again. So you can see the pieces better this way. So you can see how this one stripes this way, and then the next piece goes this way. And then if you're OCD, this might not be your dress, but I like it because it adds some texture and character. So stripes, and then the bottom stripes down. And again, I had to alter this one down, and that's okay. But it turned out super cute. I found some buttons, I think at Hobby Lobby, that look old, to add to this dress itself. And again, it's got the side zip and the pockets. This is just a cotton material. Very simple dress. My last dress that I will show you is one of my favorites. It is a 1940s pattern. It's actually a simplicity pattern. I found it, goodness, I don't remember where I found it. I think I found it while I was out shopping. I can't remember. It is Simplicity 4142. It was sold originally for 25 cents. And I fell in love with the shape of it. I thought it was cute. Again, it needed to be altered, but that's okay. So this is the material and dress I found, or made out of it, I mean. And this material I found at a local, it's almost like a thrift fabric store. She goes to estate sales and things and finds fabric. And it's wool, completely wool, which was intimidating at first, but turned out great. It is not lined, but I always wear my slips under it because it can get itchy. It is snapped down the front and then zipped down the side. It is one of the simplest patterns I have made. The only tricky part is there are, you can't see them, but 4 darts across the back and a bunch of darts on the shoulders and the sleeves. But once you figure out where all those darts are going, it was actually quite simple. And I just love it. It's nice and warm and cozy. I always put like a brooch or something to add some character, and a belt. I made this dress also for a good friend of mine. Her name is Mary. She lives over in good old jolly England, and she looks adorable in it. I think she's super cute. And so it's been fun to make it for someone else and see it on someone else as well. So that, or those, I should say, those are my patterns that I have made that I have here to show you. I hope you enjoyed seeing them. They were all so unique and fun and different. I feel like they each have a story and a personality because some of them went together simply, some of them were more complicated, as any sewing project could be. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about any of these patterns, or if you need a particular pattern, don't hesitate to ask me. I will make sure to leave any link below that you need. There's a lot of patterns, so I can't link all of them, but if you just search on the Simplicity website, they're all there. And I have found that Joann's and Hobby Lobby both run specials. I think they run at least once every few months. They run a $1 special, so it's like $1 a pattern, because some of these patterns by themselves would be like 20 bucks. But if you wait until they're on sale, they're $1. If you have a favorite, let me know below. I would love to hear. Also, if you have any video recommendations, feel free to send them my way. I'm always interested in trying some new things. I should have a new recreating the icons coming up on the first Monday in February, which I'm very excited about because I haven't done it in a few months and I'm ready to get back into that, and I hope you guys like those. We'll find out. And so yeah, this is me saying goodbye to you. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great week, and I will talk to you on the next video. Bye!